Hi, my name is Brad Emery, and this is my evaluation of the USD 350 St. John Hudson mission and vision statement. Um, the reason I'm choosing to do this is because from the first day that I set foot in this school and had our orientation day, our superintendent came in, he introduced himself, and the very first thing he led with was this mission and vision statement. Um, and I've been to a couple of schools, and I know that in a larger district where I was a part of previously, they did the same thing. But what really stood out to me about this district and the way they looked at their mission and vision statement is not only did he go over it that first time, but we've come back to this statement and this mission and our vision every year, and many times, multiple times throughout the year. Whenever things get difficult, I've seen it a lot pop up here in our challenges with COVID this past year. And time again, Mr. Meyer, our superintendent, just comes back to this mission, to this vision, and he really uses it to focus us as a community and as a school to remind us what's really important. So I wanted to take the time and I wanted to do a little bit of an evaluation of this here. So I'm just going to read it to you to begin with here. You can see it on the screen. This is our mission. Our mission is to ensure that students will find their purpose and become successful lifelong learners and positive contributors in a changing world. Our vision? Well, our vision is that USD 350 will be an excellent school district with effective staff members developing successful students. We're going to break down all these little details later, but the other main point down there at the bottom, you can see purpose, passion, and pride. Those are kind of the three ways that we as a school operate and look at our jobs and our daily work when we come in each day. So let's break this down one at a time. I'm going to zoom in and we'll take a little bit of time to look at this more detail. So our mission. This is the big goal of the school. This is what, when we walk in the doors each and every day, we are seeking to achieve this mission. And I had to think quite a bit about what is the difference between a mission and a vision. And ultimately what I came up with is your vision is where you're hoping to go. You're looking ahead. You have a vision, an idea, a goal of where you're heading, whereas your mission is what are we doing right now to make sure we're meeting that goal, to make sure we're moving towards that vision and that future success. So neither of these should ever be complete. We're never going to meet our mission, but we're going to be taking steps closer to it each and every day. And the way we do that is by looking ahead, keeping our eyes fixed on the vision of where we want to be and the way we want to do it. So let's break down a little bit more of what does that look like of how we do this. Once again, our mission is to ensure that students will find their purpose and become successful lifelong learners and positive contributors in a changing world. Our vision is that USD 350 will be an excellent school district with effective staff members and developing successful students. And you can see that we've broken down those three pieces here, and let's just briefly talk about each. So we see that successful students, as we at USD 350 define them, we see them growing, we see them improving, they collaborate, they solve problems, they create and innovate, they're prepared for the future, and you can see there we've added just a little bit to clarify they're also prepared for their future. Okay? Not just the future in general, but their specific, their personal future. And they persevere. So as we're looking at our vision, when we come in, when we're planning lessons, no matter what we're doing, our decisions are based on the students. This is the most important part of our vision, and Mr. Meyer has been very clear on this from day one. One of the things he does and our school board does is they have a student's chair that is sat empty in every school board meeting so that we can remember, so that we can focus on our vision of students. Because ultimately, that's who this is all about. That's who this is all for. Everything else we're doing with our mission, everything else we're doing with our vision is tied in and aimed at students. Now, when I step back, as you've probably noticed, I'm pretty passionate about this. This is something that I've seen be successful in our school, and it really does hit home as this is my 6th year in this school. But stepping back, trying to look at it from an evaluative lens, I see that the goals we have for students really are nice because they're across the curriculum. So we're not tied in with anything specific academically. Instead, we're looking at how do students learn, what's important for students to be able to do, and where do we want them to go. And these work from pre-K, which we have 3- and 4-year-olds, all the way up to 12th grade. So are our students able to grow? Are they improving? And we take that and want to make sure we're doing that every year. Collaboration. That one's a little trickier. It's harder to measure, but that's one that purely from a perspective of a teacher who is a part of this school, I would say that many of us could learn and improve in helping our students collaborate and become more tied in with one another. As far as solving problems, that ties in really nicely with creation and innovation. You can see those next 2 points there. And how do we solve these problems? We want kids to be thinking outside the box. We want them to be processing more than just words on a paper or another worksheet. Instead, we really want them to be innovative. We want them to be problem solvers. We want them to have that grit and determination to push through and be successful. And again, stepping back out of my ideas and my viewpoints of this, which is difficult because I enjoy it so much, you can see that our successful students, each of those points that I've just mentioned, having the grit, having the determination, seeking academic success, that's defined within our mission statement here of students who are prepared for the future, who are prepared for their personal future, that persevere, that create and innovate in order to solve those problems, which requires collaboration, and all of that leads to growth and improvement. Same idea here as we take a look at effective staff members in the excellent school district. So I'm going to not spend as much time on these, although they're very important, but you've kind of got the idea. As we look at effective staff members, you're going to see a lot of overlap with the students because the best way to teach our students is to model it. So we also need to be growing and improving. We need to be showing students how to collaborate by collaborating with our peers. We are seeking to motivate and inspire kids, and that's going to tie in here in just a minute to our passion. We have to have passion for what we do. We just can't come in and do our jobs as teachers. That's not a luxury or an opportunity we have. Instead, we really need to take the time, and we have to come in passionate and eager to work and ready to motivate these kids each and every day. And how do we keep that passion? How do we keep that motivation? Well, we have to have that deep set belief that all students really can achieve. We have to demand excellence each and every day, even if we don't feel like it, which has really hit me hard this past year as I consider COVID and just the exhaustion that everything we're having to do brings with that. It's so difficult to step back and really make sure that I'm bringing a passion into my students. And I'll be the first to admit that these are goals. This is not my everyday teaching. I wish it was, but I like that I can look at these and know this is where I'm going for. And so in that sense, this is not only my vision, but it's my mission to make it to that goal as much as possible and to demonstrate these every day. An excellent school district, again, similar points here because they all tie together. We grow and improve, we're collaborative, holding high expectations from pre-K all the way up through 12. Sometimes it's easy to think about that on a grade school level or in our academic core courses, but we really need to make sure as a whole district, no matter what you're in, the arts, music, PE, extracurricular activities, work study, we want to make sure that we have high expectations across the board so that kids have that consistency. We have to have accountability, and I would go so far as to say this is true for both students and staff. And as we work under that accountability as staff, we then pass that along and expect the same accountability from our students. The district has to be equitable and balanced. We have to have a vision for the future, which, as you can see in this document, is all tied together. So as far as our core values, all members of USD 350 community will live and work with purpose, passion, and pride. And these are really your daily use terms. These are the ones that Mr. Meyer, our superintendent, comes back to time and time again to make sure that we are remembering what is our vision all about. Okay? It's that student chair in the boardroom. It's the passion that we bring to work each and every day to make sure that these kids are getting our best, or if that's not possible, I've heard the phrase fake it to make it, and that's more important than anywhere in education, because you can't come in and not have a passion and expect these students to succeed. So we have that purpose. We're going to continually grow, we're going to improve, and we're always student focused. Our passion, talked a lot about that. We want to not only have a passion for what we teach, but we want to build and maintain the positive relationships in our school and around our school as part of our community. So we want to engage our learning community in the building, and we want to engage that with our community, especially as we have that freedom in a small town. And pride. We want to have a high expectation for ourselves and others. We want to live with respect, responsibility, integrity. And pride comes down to, or on a practical level, trying to step back into that evaluator's shoes once again here, our pride is your accountability. Your pride is your ethics. So ethically, how do we talk about the school? How do we communicate that, yes, we're imperfect, but we don't want to blare those imperfections and those things that we're working on, or mistakes we've made in the past, or things that we need to improve right now, because there always will be things that we need to improve. But that pride says, well, let's have a high expectation for ourselves, and let's make sure we keep what we need within our own ways. We don't want to pretend that we don't have problems, but we don't need to air out that to everyone else either. Instead, we need to make sure that we're letting the community see the best version of the school, a realistic version of the school where we're growing, we're improving, we're learning, but definitely we don't want a negative impression to come from that. So, as I started this all with, our mission, our vision statement, it's not something that prior to coming to St. John Hudson I really gave a second thought in any of the schools I was at previously. I couldn't tell you anything about any of the mission or vision statements prior to my time at St. John, but we do look at this on a yearly basis. We look at this frequently enough that it becomes a part of who we are as teachers at St. John. We want to make sure that we're living every day with purpose, with passion, and with pride, so that our students will find their purpose, pursue their passions, and do so with pride. As an evaluator, I can't ask for anything better. In practice, I know that it's not going to always work out this way, but that's why it's a vision. That's why it's our mission. Not that we're achieving this every day, but we seek to. We're living in a way that we can. And for that, I'm really grateful for this school district, and I'm grateful to be a part of it.